Hi, developers. This is Martin from Tatum, and joining me today is Omolaja Abubakar. Hi, Omolaja, and welcome.
Yeah, hi, Martins.
Great. Omolaja, you're a software developer at Fluttervawe, and I think a lot of our listeners will find it interesting. So thanks a lot for coming and joining in. When did you first start coding, and how did you get into computers?
So I started coding while I was in the university. I enjoyed coding as a result of the fact that I love mathematics. And mathematics is in a way related to coding. So I started from there and I started picking up projects in my final year. And I was able to transform users' requirements into solution. And afterwards, I left the university. I joined, I've been fortunate with immediately I started my career. I've started from a financial background, and that's what I do up to today. I moved to a bigger project, which is payday loan. Payday loan is a low hanging fruit for the bank, and it's also a cash cow, if you understand what I mean. So by implication, that means that I was able to build a project that is used by more than 20 million customers across Africa. And also, I was able to transform the requirements into solution by generating the total transaction value of over 2.5 billion naira monthly, and also generating a revenue of over 100 million naira monthly on that one solution. So after I left that, I moved to Flutterwave. And Flutterwave has been an amazing company. The growth rate is geometric, and the turnaround every year is always outshooting. So what I mean is that I work as a switching and integration engineer in Flutterwave, and my responsibility are integrating to providers across Africa. I integrate in different levels, and for instance, I integrate to mobile money operators.
I just heard that the fintech industry in Africa is the single biggest industry to be funded by outside capital from venture capital. So that's really something where a lot of money is flowing and something that's just really flourishing in a I think a really awesome way. What do you think might be some of the social impacts of it in terms of financial inclusion, access to digital banking instruments for average citizens? How do you see that progressing?
Well, what I see is that the ability so several businesses, let me start like this, several businesses in Africa, most especially in Nigeria, are able to convince the investors to invest in their idea, which on the average, they have been profitable. Aside from Flutterwave being a profitable company and having a social inclusion in the community they serve, uh, for instance, one of the social benefits the community they serve is Flutterwave has something we call Flutterwave Store. So this allow you to come to the platform to advertise whatever you have, and will provide a gateway for your customers to make payments to your platform. So it takes away the stress of payments from your customers. The customers can easily see your products, and you can easily collect your money from the customer without any hustle. That's just one. Other organizations, for instance, Paystack, are able to also make a lot of income or a lot of funds from the investors because of the social impact they have made in the community by making payment very easy for an average citizen to make payment, to pay for whatever item they wanted to purchase and stuffs around that. So in short, the summary is that fintechs, because they're able to make a lot of fun, they're able to devise and come up with innovative idea that allows citizens to make payments seamlessly.
Could you just talk a little bit about the role of crypto in, I mean, it can be in Flutterwave or in general in the African payment system, and how do you see that from a developer's perspective and from a kind of user's perspective?
As an engineer working on Ripple, so it's not as at Flutterwave level, it's not just Ripple that we have integrated with, we have also integrated with Stellar, if you're familiar with that. So Ripple personally is a blockchain company. They do a lot of around XRP and some of those currencies. And lately, the interaction I've had with Ripple, so I was able to connect with a lot of providers across the Europe to make remittances to Africa, particularly Nigeria and South Africa and some of these countries. So what this has, so this seems very promising in terms of what crypto can do for Africa as a whole. And so many of organizations have started picking this up and quickly making sure that they are able to quickly plug in into this crypto idea and make values with it. So Flutterwave is not left out of this, and that's why we're able to connect to Ripple. So many organizations, payment companies in the UK that are on Ripple network, so same as Flutterwave, they are able to make payments to their customers in Nigeria in fiat currency via the Ripple network. So all the transactions, some of the transactions we do at the moment comes from some of those providers across the Europe. And this makes talking about crypto an interesting aspect of fintech in Africa and in Nigeria as a whole.
Where do you see the crypto kind of industry and crypto ecosystem going forward? Do you see like you'd want to work on more integrations and support more blockchains, or would you rather focus on some specific blockchains really deeply? How's that personal opinion?
So for me personally, since I started the integration with Ripple, it has been fantastic. Those guys are good. They have very good engineers, developer, architects, and they have really reshaped my understanding in terms of how crypto work and what you can do in terms of capacity. So what I've been able to conclude within me is that I would like to invest my time more on crypto, and as such look for platforms that would quickly allow me to integrate, synergize with a lot of crypto, and being able to transform my users' requirements into solution.
For the integrations in crypto, from your experience, was it like hard for you, or did it take a long time, or was it fairly manageable and easy development?
Okay, so one of the advantages I had with integrating Repo is that at first the idea wasn't very clear, but along the line I was able to pick it up, and I now realize that it's almost the same across board. So one thing that the organization, for instance, Repo that I've integrated, is they were able to quickly transform all the idea into a RESTful endpoint, something that is easily called, and the API was properly documented. So because of this and a lot of architectural diagrams, sequence diagram, collaboration, and some of those diagrams that aid the easy usability of the APIs. So with that, it makes it seamless for me to quickly plug in into the API and transform that into what would be beneficial to our customers on the platform.
I guess documentation. That's what I hear a lot of developers say. I mean, really well-written documentation is like the most important thing that can help a developer kind of and support him. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, definitely. So one of the things I did recently is that I was able to sign up on Tantrum, because I realized that they also have a facility for blockchain, to quickly see how I can plug into that and make the most out of the platform. So currently I'm reviewing this and I would like to take it up even to preach this gospel to my partners within the organization.
What would be a recommendation if you could give to someone who's probably starting in something in your shoes? Imagine yourself, 10 or 20 years younger. What would you advise yourself?
Recently, I have some guys that I mentor, and they are new to technology and programming specifically. So what I tell them is that, hey, there are tools that are fantastic for this environment, and globally there are tools that are also fantastic. So generally the first thing is that you try as much as possible to learn from people. You read online, you watch videos, you read documentations, and you learn very recent technologies to easily plug into the market, like Python, like Node.js, and some of these JavaScript and the stuff around that. It makes so whatever documentation you have across platform now, they make provisions for some of these recent technologies. So it's so if tomorrow, if you think about I want to plug in it into blockchain, you can easily, knowing those technologies, you can easily connect to those platforms and use that to quickly connect and see how far you can go with it.
If you were to summarize Tatum into just one word, what would the word be?
Okay, so let me approach it like this. In one word, I would say tantrum makes how do I put it? Makes interacting with blockchain seamless.
Well, it was totally great to chat with you. I'm really happy we got into it. I'm really happy to hear about the backgrounds and the work you're doing and the impacts you're making on the society as a whole. It was really great to talk, and thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Anytime, you can always get in touch. Thank you.
And for all of you watching, please feel free to hit the subscribe button, like if you enjoy this video, put a comment, we'll answer that. We also got a Reddit group which you can join. The link will be in the description, so feel free to access that. And stay awesome, enjoy, and happy coding.